We finally know everything coming in the Diablo Immortal update that drops 2 days from today. Vanquish the Darkness in Legions of Horror, dropping on April 24th for all of us to enjoy. There are a lot of new things coming to the game here, and I'm going to go through all of them inside of this video. We have a new legendary gem, which looks incredible. I can't wait to share it with you. Legions of Horror, a limited time event. New legendary weapons, new familiar. We have new legendary affixes and class balancing. Mad King Phantom Market. That sounds a lot different than the Phantom Market that's going on over in China, which you could look at this and say, okay, maybe that is a Mad King sitting in a throne, etc. But I believe that the cosmetics that we're going to be seeing from the Phantom Market this time are different from what we've been seeing China represent and kind of advertise over the past week's time. So for a lot of you that weren't into the second Asian themed cosmetic in a row, you may be happier with what we see from the Mad King. Hopefully we could see more about that inside of here today. We also have returning events, feature updates, region specific game additions, and bug fixes. Let's start out by looking at the legendary gem, and I want to thank you guys that subscribe to the channel and stick with me on all these videos. Keeping you up to date in Diablo Immortal means a lot to me. And also, if you haven't subscribed, and if you love this game, consider subscribing, because I bring out everything related to Diablo Immortal, whether it be news, builds, guides, or just some fun gameplay. So let's go. Let's dive into this. This is the Hilt of Many Realms. This one is a sword-themed gem, and as you can see from the gem itself, the crystals sticking up all look like different pieces of swords. Let's dive right into this. This is a new 5-star gem. Hilts of Many Realms. Dealing damage conjures 5 flying swords to follow you for 10 seconds, during which using a skill consumes a flying sword to create a sword rain at a random location, dealing 125 base damage plus 506 to nearby enemies. You hearing that? The swords are going to be following you, and then you could consume one to do another skill. This is like a double dip type gem, at least how I'm reading it. Conjuring flying swords cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds. Sword Rain has a 50% chance to drop a massive sword, dealing an additional 50% damage to nearby enemies and knocking them airborne. Wow, knocking them airborne, that tells you right there it's a stun. It's great for PvP. We also have tons of things that are going to make this to be a great PvE gem as well. I think we have a really good 5-star incoming that a lot of people are going to want to get. And you could also see right here that they are giving us the 5 resonance gems. So essentially when you awaken this gem, get it to rank 10, you'll then be able to put in Pain Clasp, Cutthroat, Bloody Reach, Bottled Hope, and Gloom Cask if you ever make it to that point. And will you be able to get this gem? Well, you have a better chance because you can modify your drop table on the 24th through the 22nd, 24th of April through May 22nd, that is. This also tells us that in 2 days, this gem will be available inside of the game. We don't have to wait. So during that time, April 24th through May 22nd, players will have the option to enable a modified drop table for their legendary crests and running Elder Rifts. Once enabled, you receive a 5-star legendary gem as a drop. There's a 50% chance it'll be Hilt of Many Realms. I believe this gem is going to hold quite big value. So if you use crests that are unbound and you do happen to get some, I think you can get top dollar for them on the market, at least right away. Now, Legions of Horror, limited time event. What is this one? Is it a returning event? Is it something new? It's something new. April 24th through April 8th, complete daily and weekly tasks for rewards. Each task completed granted coveted terror crests. Collecting enough terror crests will grant you progress towards milestone rewards. Additionally, completing individual tasks will also grant you gold, scraps, set items, telluric pearls, legendary items, and more. All right, so it's another one of those type of events that's going to grant you rewards for doing things you already do inside of the game. This is not a new gameplay mode. This is no anything like that. This is just straight up going to be get more rewards for doing what you do. All right, we have new legendary weapons. Let's take a look at this right here. An arsenal of legendary weapons have entered the fray, storing unspoken levels of power. Each contains a new, unique affix for each class to wield and vanquish demons with no remorse, and has a modified attack that adds energy to each swift strike. So something different here. Let's take a look at these class by class, because I think that you guys are probably going to be interested. Also, keep in mind, note, There is no new class on here. So we are not getting the new class when we were expecting to, this month. It is going to come at a later date. My projection is probably June, a year from when we got the Blood Knight last year. Barbarian, we have Crumble Stall. Grab now calls an ancient spirit to hurl a giant mountain, dealing damage and stunning enemies in a targeted location. I think Grab is one of the worst skills for Barbarian, having been a Barbarian for the majority of my time playing Diablo Immortal. But now you're going to be doing something very different, so it's going to be more of a ranged thing. We'll see how it is. It looks like it could be kind of cool, and it does offer a stun. Blood Knight, Greeting Shade, Echoing Strikes. Shroud of Night now grants you and nearby allies Echoing Strikes, causing your next several primary attacks to conjure a shadowy apparition to copy your attack. So essentially a little clone next to you. That seems cool. And allies that are nearby. Crusader, Mysteries Above, Falling Sword now impales enemies in a targeted area with heavenly swords, dealing damage and knocking back enemies hit. So it looks like I can have that doesn't, it's not really sharing with me there what's different than some of the other sword essences that we have. I guess we're going to have to see until I, by the way, am the Crusader. We'll see. Demon Hunter, Veil Piercer. Impale now unleashes a fury of blades in a direction, dealing damage to enemies when hit. Monk, Peal of Thunder. Is this the new essence? Is this the new legendary weapon that is going to make the Monk the best class? Let's see. Peal of Thunder. Wave of Light now causes you to strike the ground, unleashing a shockwave of energy, damaging nearby enemies. Doesn't sound it. Necromancer. Hesitation's End. Dark Curse now causes enemies in a targeted area, causing them to explode and damaging all nearby enemies after a short delay. That seems cool. And Wizard Fault in the Foundation. Lightning Nova now randomly calls down arcane lightning in an area, dealing damage and knocking back enemies hit. All right. Obviously, these all have to get tested out and tried before we can determine whether they're worth putting into your builds or not. But let's talk about the new familiar. This is the Bramble Stalker. Well, that's kind of cool looking, I have to say. Is it worth getting a new familiar or just keeping the ones you have? Let's find out. A new beast emerges from the haunted fescue of the woods. The local townsfolk know it for its ability to strike and call it Bramble Stalker. What appears to be a tiny shrub finds its roots to become a hulking Goliath in the forest. The primary skill plants spores into 3 surrounding enemies, deals damage, and binds them based on the available health. This new familiar also has the potential to unlock passive skills to max out if at full potential. Fear the Formidable Hunter of the Forest. Sounds cool that we'll be able to get a new familiar. Not sure that it's going to be game-changing or not. I would assume that it will not be. So now we have new legendary items and class balances, because remember, as we get new legendary items to the game, we have new essences that are going to be able to put into our builds, and things need to be balanced out. We do have balance changes for all of these classes. Let's skip these for now, and I may come back to them towards the end of the video. But obviously, all of the classes look like they're getting about 6 different things added to them right there for all of our classes currently. Then we have class balance changes as well for all of our classes, and it looks like 6 or so of more. Demon Hunter having quite a bit right there. Now let's go right here to the Mad King Phantom Market before we go back and address some of those. Death is no rest for the damned. Before your bones turn to dust, they may take a new life for the most nefarious of purposes. Dole out misery of our newest Phantom Market. April 22nd, so there's going to be a... Whoa! That seems like it's going to be available today through January, May 22nd, server time. Leave your enemies in a trail of ethereal light using the Mad King's Radiance Glint Step visual effects, and illuminate your character's portrait with the Mad King's Nibius profile background. Both cosmetic effects will be yours upon acquiring the Mad King's cosmetic set and can be worn with other cosmetics. Both the glint step and profile background will be available for 30 days after you initially acquire them, but will remain in the cosmetic tab of your inventory. Future Phantom Markets will come with ethereal treasures, so keep an eye out. You know what I want to do? This is saying that it's in the game right now, but I actually don't think it is. I'm going to log in on the side here and take a peek at that. Note, the drop dates provided below are for the first draw only and will adjust to reflect. So essentially, as we know, this is what you're going for. Mad King's cosmetic set. You have a 0.13% chance of getting that on your first draw. Your chances will improve as time goes on when you're in the game, but odds are what you're going for, the cosmetic set, is going to be the last thing that you get. I am very surprised. There is literally no image of this cosmetic whatsoever. There is nothing here, nothing showing it. A little bit disappointing, especially because we have seen what's coming to the Chinese server, and I want to see if they are the same or if they are not. Let's go on I'm just jumping on my phone really quickly, and if I go to events, it is not there inside of the game. So this is saying that it's supposed to be here right now on the 22nd, which is now, but it's not. I'm wondering, April 22nd through January 22nd. I'm wondering if they meant the 24th there, since that's when the update comes out. That could have been a typo, because it's not in the game right now. Returning events. We have Trial of the Hordes coming back. That's going to be April 26th through May 3rd. Fractured Plains shall return from May 3rd through May 10th. Conqueror, May 3rd also through May 10th. We have the Reigning Damnation from April 27th through May 4th. Hungering Moon, I always like Hungering Moon, very easy way to get some more rewards. May 4th through May 11th. Again, Hungering Moon, for those of you that don't know, is just another event where you get rewards for doing things inside of the game. Now, some feature updates. I really want to take a look at these. Shadow Faction optimization of faction settlement experience. Cycle of Strife score can now be earned from participating in the Shadow War, with wins granting you the most score. The maximum amount of points you can earn is 200. For Immortals, weekly quests will be refreshed once it's been completed. Claiming your reward from the mission is no longer necessary. All right, a little quality of life. Battlegrounds matchmaking changes. I know a lot of you guys are going to care about this. We've noticed that in some matchmaking instances, the total strength gap between the match teams is too large, essentially matchmaking not being optimal. In this case, if the team that loses is much underpowered, the winning team, some points will be compensated. So they are not saying that they're going to fix the gap in between power between teams, but that points can be compensated if that is the case. So it saves you on points. It doesn't save you on your experience playing it. Combat performance optimization. We've optimized the performance of skills. And now, when you cast skills and engage in combat, the overall game experience will be a lot smoother. Okay, I hadn't seen an issue there. Maybe you have. Region-specific game additions. Sword and See? This is what I was talking about. That's Sword and Fairy. This was the collaboration. We spoke of this over here. Sword and Fairy, right? This is what's coming to China. All these different events. This tower. This is actually a big event going inside of the game. It's not only a cosmetic, it's also this game mode as well. And let's see if it's only coming to China. From time to time, there may be a region-specific event that partner with regionally relevant brands with an aim to deliver exciting experience for our players that resonate with the culture at a cultural level. So apparently the collaboration is not a cultural experience that we would appreciate here in North America. I like game modes and I like new cosmetics. I could appreciate it for that, I'll tell you that. Our China version of Diablo Immortal will receive a Sword and Fairy themed version of the new familiar, 5-star legendary gem, and legendary affix. That is the sword mount that we spoke of. Guess it's not coming to us. Once the collaboration has ended in 2 weeks' time, those China-specific items will become the same version across the world, which is what's being released in the latest update. Players from the China version will also be able to keep their crossover-specific cosmetics from the market. So, over in China, they're getting a different set of cosmetics than we are, and they're getting different elements and affects from some of their skills, different affects from some of their gems. But after 2 weeks time, it's going to default back to what we are getting, which is the real game version, although they will be able to keep the cosmetic, which makes sense and is fair. So they're getting 2 weeks of something cool while we're not getting it at all, but we are still getting new stuff, but we're not getting that game mode. I saw nothing of that tower game mode in here. It would have been really awesome. Essentially, there were 7 or 9 levels to the tower, and you have to fight your way to the top. That's how I read it, at least, and it seemed really cool. Now, let's quickly go through all of these changes to the items and class balances. New legendary items below can only be obtained in Inferno 6 and above. Is it worth me reading through all of these? There are quite a bit here. You know what? I don't think I'm going to inside of this video. I think it's going to make it very long, and most of you only care about the class that you're currently playing. What I can do is link the patch notes in the description, or I'll just scroll through them right now, and you could pause when it's appropriate for you. So we have new legendary items and class balances for the Barbarian, for the Blood Knight, for the Crusader, Demon Hunter, Monk, Necromancer, and the Wizard. Now we also have some class balance changes as well. Let's go through each of those for you. Barbarian, pause there if you want to take a read. Blood Knight, Crusader, which I'm interested in, Demon Hunter, Monk, Necro, and the Wizard. Are you guys disappointed that a lot of the things that we've been hearing about coming, the new tower game mode, the new Asian-inspired crossover cosmetic, is not actually going to come to our game? Do you think that it should be global whenever those type of events happen? We do have a new legendary gem. If you're looking to change up your legendary gems or invest in a new one, we do have the Legion of Horror limited time event, which is essentially just an event that's going to be giving us rewards. The new legendary weapons, the new familiar, bunch of updates, bunch of returning events, Phantom Market, which is always fun if you want to spend in the Phantom Market. And honestly, guys, that's it. Nothing crazy new coming in this update. Looking forward to seeing what the Phantom Market looks like, and maybe if that new familiar is worth investing in. And of course, maybe we'll get a free gem try. This is actually the second new, we just got a new gem, a new 5-star gem about a month ago. Now another one dropping inside of the game. I will tell you, as a player that may be a low spender inside of the game, or someone that doesn't want to keep reinvesting in gems, sometimes you have to just say, okay, the gems that I have are good, and I'm going to stick with them. Or you can make your 5-star gems that you're using dormant, take the power out of them, not have to destroy them, and put them into a new gem if something drops. But new gems will always drop inside of the game. There will always be new gems coming that are better than the gems that we have now. That is going to be a consistent thing. So be wise, figure out your plan on how you plan to do all that and how you can manage all that, and just make sure that you're enjoying Diablo Immortal along the way. Again, subscribe so you don't miss out on every single video bringing you all the news and all that. I'll see you guys later. And maybe this Phantom Market will come today, but I don't think it's supposed to.